What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 BMW X4M. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This X4 is finished off in Brooklyn Gray Metallic. MSRP is just over $83,000. And this is powered by the 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6 paired to that 8-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 473 horsepower, 457 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,600-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Top speed is 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.2 gallons. You'll expect to see around 15 miles per gallon in the city, 20 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112.8 inches. Its overall length is 187.5. It has a width of 75.9 and a height of 63.8 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this X4, you'll notice right off the bat that the kidney grille is shaped a little bit different than some of the other SUV models available. It's a little bit thinner and taller, still retaining that kidney design with the X4M badge on that driver's side, but there are plenty of cutouts in this grille to provide a lot of cooling to that engine. There's also this gloss black trim piece in the middle because we do not have the forward-facing camera, but it gives it a very nice look. Now this also has the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. There's gloss black in the entire lower section. It would be nice to see the chrome grille surround to match that, but there are a lot more cutouts. Parking sensors are also down below, and it gives it a very nice angular design with all of those, as well as the two lines that come down the hood, meeting the top of that grille very nicely. Now this model does have the optional and upgraded 21-inch wheels with that 5 split spoke design to them, the two-tone design, and then the M brakes that are finished off in blue. There's the X4M badge just behind that. With the two-tone for these power folding side mirrors, they have the integrated turn signal. This has a moonroof up top with the gloss black roof racks, as well as all the window trim that matches nicely being blacked out. Now the X4, if you are unfamiliar with BMW, this has this really steeply raked rear glass to give it more of that coupe-like design versus some of the other SUVs available from BMW. Now in back, this has a really cool looking trunk mounted spoiler. There's the backup camera down below, a lot more gloss black. This has LED taillights along with all the parking sensors, and then that quad tip dual exhaust. Now as we work our way to the interior, all you need to do is push on the top of the BMW badge, and that is how you can open up the power liftgate, where even though this has that steeply raked rear glass, you still have a good bit of storage. It is going to limit the height slightly, however, but there's a lot of space even with the back seats up, and then this does have a spare tire underneath. A little bit of storage over on that driver's side, so you could place some items under the floor if needed. We also have this cover that is removable, and then there's a 12-volt and a hook over on that passenger side. You can also fold down the back seats to give yourself that much more interior space, so you still have usable space for the X4. Now up top, you can close the vehicle, or you can use the one on the right. It will lock the vehicle as well. And then as we work our way to the interior, we do have the proximity sensor, so that way you can unlock it from the back, which is really convenient. This model also has carbon fiber accents and the orange interior. Very cool combo when you pair it with the Brooklyn Gray. Now there's storage in the lower section of the door, as well as the window adjustment, and then some more brushed aluminum accents with the X logo right at the front. And then as we jump into the back seat, at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. There's a lot of room down below. There's also all the climate adjustments, there's auxiliaries, and then the fan speeds right there. No storage behind either seat though. And then at my height, I have about an inch or so above my head, so even with that steeply raked rear glass, it doesn't really start to dip until behind this headrest. So I still have plenty of room to sit up nice and comfortably. Now right in the middle, we pull on this tab. There's the armrest along with 2 cup holders, and then you can also fold down this middle seat if you need to. So you can have access into the back or a little bit higher of an armrest if you need to as well. Now that pillar is a little bit bulky, but there is an additional window there to give you more visibility. So even with that design again for the rear, you can still see around all of that, which is great. Now the front door panel is just like the rear. There's all the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, liftgate release, lock and unlock, and even more storage. X4M is down on the door sill there. And then very beautiful M sport bucket seats with that two-tone design. They are automatic. However, there is the manual adjustment in the front section. And then we are greeted with the M Sport steering wheel. So it's solid leather, M badge down below, and all of the colors are stitched on the inside of it. But let's fire this up and we can take a listen to that exhaust. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, fuel and miles per hour is on the left side. Right side, there's the tach and the engine temperature. And then you'll notice within the tach, you can actually go through all that info using the button on the top of the turn signal stalk. So currently there's some odometer information. If I push on it once, we can go into the TPMS as well as the temperature for the tires, look at some other vitals. You can even pull up live readouts for your horsepower and your torque. And then you can pull up the G-force meter as well. You can look at your music. You also have the driving modes for this. Being the M model, we have a few different modes that you can put it into, and you can also configure those as needed. There's also what gear that you are in, and then a live readout for your MPG. Now, in order to configure those modes, there's M1 and M2. So that is great to have for this. There's also the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, volume and tuning, along with Bluetooth and voice commands are on that right side. Left side gives you all of your cruise control settings. And then also on this left side, a little bit of storage down below. There's the headlight and parking light adjustments along with a dimmer switch. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, everything on this left side is fixed. So you can quickly go through all of this. If we go into car, this is how you can get into your M menu. So let's go into that where there's M1 and M2. And this is how you can configure all of these depending on how you want to drive and have those shortcuts ready to go. There's also vehicle status, so you can monitor all of that. You have driving information, so you can pull up your sport displays if you want to do some sporty driving in this. There's settings that you can go into with a variety of information, just depending on what suits you best. You have your owner's manual. You even have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So it's a very easy system to go through, and you have some other widgets on the home screen, so you can swipe through those to get easy access. Now there's carbon fiber surrounding the air vents underneath that, even a shortcut to the intelligent safety. So we have all of this information here that you can adjust as needed. And then the second LCD screen is for your climates. So there's fan speed, temperature. This has heated seats. You also have some recirc adjustments for where you'd like the air to go. Now there's power and volume. All of the tuning and presets are underneath that. And then at the very bottom, there's wireless charging with auxiliaries and cup holders, and you can hide those away as needed. Now over on this right side, these are all the controls I was using earlier to go through this screen. So you have all these shortcuts, so you can quickly go through that if you don't want to use it as a touchscreen system. On the left side of the shifter, there's traction control, parking sensors, and the engine start stop. And then let's put this into reverse, where there's the backup camera with the sensors. Drive is to the right. If you do that one more time, you can shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters. And then on the back side, there's park, along with how quick or slow you want the transmission to shift. Very cool to see that. And there's also M menu. So when you push on that, the entire gauge cluster is going to change, and you can adjust whether you want it to be in road or sport. And then behind that, there's setup, there's the exhaust note, auto hold, e-brake, and a downhill assist. And then you have a little bit of space in the armrest as well as in the glove box too. Now up top, there's the sunshade and sunroof adjustments along with all the dome lights. And then a look at visibility. Like I said earlier, with that additional window, you can easily see over that pillar and then just as easily see over that left side. As we set up now behind the wheel for the X4M, it's been a while since I've been in the M version for this car. What I love about this SUV is the fact that we have that coupe-like design. We have a little bit smaller of an SUV as well. This feels more on par with the X3, and it's a little bit tighter just because of that roofline in the back. It just feels a little bit smaller. But with that in mind, not only do we have a small vehicle, but we have something with a lot of power too. So let's give it an acceleration. And it's got a good get up and go to it. It's not crazy loud, so you don't really hear it, even with the exhaust note on there. But it's quick for what it is. If you're not looking for a large vehicle and you want something that has a nice look to it and is going to give you a sporty feel, especially with these seats, they are so comfortable. They hug me very nicely. And I love this color combo too. So of course that's a personal preference with how you want to set up your vehicle. But this is a great M performance option. That's not crazy expensive. 80 grand is a lot. Compared to some of the other M cars though, you can spend, 6 figures or more. For what you're getting, a little bit on the smaller side, but you are definitely getting a lot of performance for that money. And visibility, like I mentioned earlier, it's easy to see over both shoulders there, and I have clear view out of that rear glass. So with that design again, you still get kind of the best of both worlds. And as far as driving this BMW, it's what you'd expect from pretty much every BMW. I love how they all have a very similar feel to them as far as how they drive and the materials and just the fit and finish. It's kind of like you're jumping into the same BMW with a few tweaks here and there. So this would make for a great daily driver. If you're not hauling a lot of items, you want that coupe design, that I can see where the trade-off would be for getting the looks with a little bit less of the function if you want that cooler outside look. But very practical. I could fit in the back. I could go on a long road trip, be in the back seat. So you're not really sacrificing anything again for that design. If we pop it into M mode now, let's see if we can hear that exhaust a little bit louder. It's a little bit deeper, nothing too crazy for it. But it's nice. It has a good tone to it. And then you can also decide how quickly or how slowly you want the transmission to shift. Now I've talked about this in a lot of other BMW videos, and it just gives you basically multiple vehicles to drive at once. It's really cool how you can adjust that based on the driving that you're doing for the day. And from second gear, here we go. It's got a good tone to it for sure. It's not crazy loud. It's not like some of the other M cars that I have heard, but it's a nice tone. And shifts are super quick. So it's fun that you can get a sporty style SUV that is going to perform similarly to a sports car. We still have a pretty heavy vehicle, but it's also small enough and nimble enough to give you those handling characteristics that you are looking for without going to like an X6M. That's going to give you a lot more performance than this model here. So you do have some other SUV performance options, just depending on what you'd like to go with. But it's also super comfortable, very quiet. It's what you'd expect from a BMW, how refined it is, all of the materials. You're definitely getting your money's worth with this vehicle. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 BMW X4M. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this M car for me today. Check out their website. Also give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.